Conflicts in love are inevitable, but how we resolve them can determine the longevity of the relationship. Instead of letting emotions take control, Stoic thinking in love teaches us to approach issues calmly, rationally, and with deep understanding. Imagine that every time a conflict arises, it is an opportunity for love to become deeper and stronger. So, how can we turn challenges into opportunities? Let's explore how to resolve conflicts effectively and build a stronger love through Stoic thinking. Hello everyone, welcome to the Stoic Love Wisdom channel, a space where classical Stoic philosophy illuminates our path in love and personal growth. If you are looking for ways to maintain emotional balance, overcome challenges in relationships, and find peace amidst the chaotic modern life, this video is for you. In this video, we will dive into the principle of how to resolve conflicts in love. Let's explore the secrets and strategies from Stoic philosophy to build a strong and lasting love, while also gaining a deeper understanding of ourselves. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any new insights. Now, let's get started. Love is a journey full of challenges, bringing both joy and occasionally conflicts and misunderstandings. Conflicts in love are unavoidable, as each person has different thoughts, feelings, and ways of reacting. However, how do we resolve these conflicts effectively, preserve peace in the relationship, and still grow? One helpful approach is Stoic thinking, a philosophy that has been applied for generations to maintain calmness, patience, and balance in any situation, including love. Stoic thinking originated from the philosophies of ancient Greek thinkers like Zeno, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. This philosophy teaches us how to control our emotions and thoughts, not letting external factors, especially emotions and influences from others, overly affect our behavior. Stoicism is not about being cold or emotionless, rather, it is the ability to understand and accept that there are things beyond our control, and the only way to live peacefully is to accept this and respond thoughtfully. In love, when facing a conflict, Stoic thinking encourages us to look at the issue from a different perspective, to remain calm and not be swept away by momentary emotions but to react reasonably and thoughtfully. The first and most important thing when applying Stoic thinking in love is to accept that conflicts are an unavoidable part of any relationship. Love is not always smooth, there will be times when you and your partner disagree, argue, or feel misunderstood. This does not mean that your relationship is in danger, but simply that it is part of the growth process. Stoic philosophers emphasize that we cannot change what has happened, but we can choose how to respond to it. Instead of being too harsh on yourself or your partner, recognize that conflicts are opportunities for both of you to learn and understand each other better. Accepting this will prevent you from being overwhelmed by negative emotions when facing difficult situations. In love, one of the biggest causes of conflict is anger. When hurt or dissatisfied with a partner's actions, many tend to react hastily and thoughtlessly, which can lead to words or actions they will later regret. Stoicism teaches us that anger is not a natural response but a choice. To control emotions, we need to be fully aware that what others do cannot affect our inner state unless we allow it to. When feeling angry, instead of reacting immediately, pause, take a deep breath, and think about the situation more clearly. You might ask yourself questions like, is this action of my partner really serious enough to be angry about? Or, if I restrain my emotions now, will I have a better response in the long run? Controlling emotions helps us avoid being swept away by negative feelings, keeping calm, and allowing us to analyze the situation more objectively. This is very helpful in resolving conflicts in love. An important principle of Stoicism is the ability to observe everything from an objective standpoint. When faced with a conflict in love, we tend to judge our partner, seeing the situation only from our own perspective without understanding or empathizing with the other person. Stoicism encourages us to focus on understanding why our partner is acting this way instead of criticizing or blaming them. There may be external factors or hidden emotions that we are unaware of. When we empathize and put ourselves in the other person's shoes, we can resolve conflicts more effectively. Another Stoic principle is the acceptance that everything in life changes. A romantic relationship is not fixed, and sometimes, these changes lead to conflicts. The key is to accept that no relationship is perfect, and some changes are inevitable. Instead of expecting everything to always remain stable, learn to adapt and accept changes, whether from your partner or from yourself. This does not mean accepting compromise on important matters but recognizing that sometimes conflicts arise because we cannot always control everything. Stoicism also teaches us the value of patience. When facing a conflict in love, sometimes it's necessary to give the other person time to think, to resolve the issue in their own way. We cannot force our partner to change immediately, and we shouldn't feel frustrated when things don't go as we want. Instead of rushing your partner to solve the issue immediately, be patient and allow both sides to have space and time to process their emotions. This patience not only helps you maintain calmness but also helps the relationship grow stronger as both partners have time to reflect on what has happened. One of the key features of Stoic thinking is the commitment to continuous learning and growth. Conflicts in love are opportunities for both of you to learn from each other, understand more about yourselves and your partner, and grow in the relationship. Instead of viewing conflicts as negative, consider them as part of the journey of growth. From every conflict, you can learn how to improve communication, understand the emotions of your partner better, or manage expectations in the relationship. Each time you overcome a challenge, you become stronger, and the relationship deepens. In a relationship, each person has their own personality, habits, and life views. Trying to change your partner according to your own desires is a major cause of conflict. Stoicism teaches us that forcing someone to change the way we want only causes exhaustion and stress for both parties. Instead, Stoic thinking encourages us to accept and respect our partner's differences. The traits that we may not like could actually be the special qualities that make them who they are. We cannot control how our partner feels or acts, but we can control how we respond to those things. Accepting differences is a way to reduce conflict, rather than trying to change the other person into our ideal image. If there is a disagreement, instead of reacting immediately with anger or disappointment, you can ask yourself, is this really important enough to warrant a change? If not, learn to accept it, and focus on the positive aspects of your partner. One of the biggest challenges in love is forgiveness. Conflicts can leave psychological scars, and if not addressed in time, they can create a big gap in the relationship. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of letting go of past wounds and not letting them influence our actions in the present. Forgiveness is not agreeing with the wrongdoings of the other person, but rather freeing yourself from pain and resentment. When we carry negative emotions from the past, we are unable to see the present clearly. Forgiveness allows us to not be imprisoned by these negative feelings, and as a result, the relationship becomes lighter and freer. Stoicism teaches us that forgiveness is an action for our own well-being. When you forgive, you not only release the other person but also free yourself from the emotional burden. This helps us avoid bringing old wounds into each new argument, creating space for growth and healing in the relationship. Stoicism places great emphasis on the ability to control oneself and maintain calmness even in the most stressful situations. In love, we sometimes get caught up in strong emotions and overreact. However, the ability to remain centered, not being manipulated by our emotions or the actions of the other person, is an essential skill for resolving conflicts effectively. When you feel out of control or angry, instead of reacting immediately, take a pause to think. Remember that you can choose how to respond. Stoicism does not teach us to be emotionless, but rather to face our emotions with clarity and intention. One way to practice self-control in a relationship is when you feel angry, take a break from the conversation. Set a time to calm down and think about the situation objectively. This not only helps you avoid saying things that could hurt the other person but also helps you manage your emotions more effectively. An important principle in conflict resolution is empathy. Stoicism teaches us not only self-control but also understanding others. When you face a conflict, one of the important steps is to put yourself in the other person's shoes to understand their feelings and perspective. Empathy does not mean you have to agree with everything the other person does, but it is the ability to understand and share their feelings. Realizing that the other person also has their own worries, fears, and reasons will help reduce tension and increase understanding in the relationship. When you practice empathy, you realize that conflict is not a personal attack but a part of life and personal growth. Empathy helps reduce stress and find solutions that both can overcome the challenge. One way to resolve conflicts in love according to Stoic thinking is to maintain an optimistic mindset and look for solutions instead of focusing on blaming. When faced with difficulties, instead of seeing the problem as a failure, try to see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. Stoicism does not encourage us to live in illusions, but teaches us to look at every situation realistically and find effective solutions to the problem. When there is conflict, instead of trying to find out who is right or wrong, focus on finding a solution that benefits both. One way to practice optimistic thinking in love is by asking, what can we learn from this situation? What can we change to prevent this from happening again? Instead of focusing on criticism, look for opportunities for the relationship to grow stronger. An important factor in conflict resolution is the ability to face the truth and accept that conflict is an inevitable part of every relationship. In fact, in love, conflicts are not a sign of failure or inadequacy of a relationship but part of the process of growing and developing together. However, Stoicism teaches us not to deny or avoid conflict but to face it and resolve it patiently and wisely. In many situations, we may feel uncomfortable confronting issues in a relationship and may try to avoid them. However, doing so only makes the problem worse in the future. If unresolved, feelings of dissatisfaction will accumulate over time and lead to bigger consequences. Stoicism advises us to view every problem, including conflicts in love, directly and without fear. Only when we face the truth and accept its existence can we come up with reasonable solutions and find ways to address it. This is when patience, self-control, and understanding of oneself and the other person will prove valuable. A key factor in effective conflict resolution is the ability to listen sincerely. In relationships, especially during conflicts, we sometimes focus too much on defending our point of view and forget that truly listening to the other person and understanding them can help resolve the issue much more effectively. Stoic thinking encourages us to develop the ability to listen fully, without judgment, and without distractions. Listening is not just about hearing what the other person says, but about paying full attention to the feelings and meaning behind their words. In love, sometimes the things unsaid are the most important. Pay attention to body language, tone, and emotions. These will tell you how the other person really feels and what they need from you. When you listen sincerely, the other person will feel respected and better understood. This helps reduce tension and conflict, creating a space for constructive conversation rather than a confrontation that only increases harm. An important element in resolving conflicts is the ability to self-reflect and spend time on oneself. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of reflecting on oneself when facing difficult situations. When there is conflict in love, stepping back and taking time to think will help you see everything more clearly. Self-reflection can include activities such as walking, meditating, or simply taking time to rest and relax. When you give yourself time to recharge, you will be able to approach the problem with more patience and rationality, rather than being swept away by anger or disappointment. Moreover, when you take care of yourself, you also bring positive energy and stability to the relationship. Love is about sharing and supporting each other, but if you can't take care of and maintain peace within yourself, you won't be able to provide stability and happiness to the other person. In any argument or conflict, reacting impulsively can make things worse. Stoicism teaches us that haste does not always bring good results, and sometimes, patience is the key to solving the problem. When a conflict arises, instead of immediately reacting with criticism or accusations, try a different approach. Step back, take time to think, and analyze the situation calmly. Ask yourself, will this reaction help me resolve the problem or just make things worse? Patience does not mean accepting wrongdoing, but waiting for the right moment to solve the issue more cleverly and effectively. Patience helps you maintain control and not let temporary emotions override reason. Conflict in love sometimes arises from a lack of sincerity or unclear communication. Stoicism teaches us the importance of facing reality honestly and practically. Don't pretend everything is fine when it is not. Sometimes, we avoid real problems, hoping they will disappear on their own, but in reality, if not addressed, they only become more complicated. Always be honest with your emotions and needs, and encourage the other person to do the same. A relationship can only grow strong when both are willing to face challenges and reality honestly. Silence is a powerful tool in conflict resolution, and Stoicism encourages us to know when to remain silent and not react hastily. Silence is not giving up or admitting defeat, but a wise choice to avoid unnecessary conflicts and give both parties time to calm down. When you are silent, you create space for thoughts and emotions in the relationship to settle. This allows both sides to have the opportunity to think carefully before making decisions or taking actions. Silence also gives you the chance to center yourself, control your emotions, and not let negative feelings dominate your actions. Sometimes, during arguments, if you can't find the right words or feel that everything you say only makes the situation worse, silence may be the best option. It will help you avoid causing harm to the other person or to yourself. Silence prevents you from saying things you may regret later. The important thing is to recognize when silence is necessary, and when you need to speak up to resolve the conflict. One of the biggest issues in conflicts is the tendency to blame the other person. When there is disagreement in a relationship, sometimes both people think the other is the cause of the problem. However, Stoicism teaches us that a wise approach is to view the issue objectively and not rush to blame anyone. Instead of criticizing the other person, focus on how both of you can solve the problem together. Don't forget that conflict is not always the fault of one party, but the result of differences in thoughts, emotions, and needs between two people. Understand that each person has their own feelings and thoughts, and sometimes misunderstanding or lack of communication can lead to conflict. Stoicism emphasizes that we need to have understanding and empathy towards others, rather than merely seeing the situation from our own perspective. Blaming only intensifies the conflict and doesn't help solve the problem. Instead, we should ask, what can we do to improve the situation together? Once the conflict is resolved, the next step is to be patient in rebuilding love and trust between two people. Stoicism teaches that love doesn't always need to be maintained in a perfect state, rather, it is the acceptance that challenges and difficulties are part of the process of building a lasting relationship. After each conflict, it may take some time for both parties to feel comfortable and trust each other again. This requires patience and commitment from both sides. Remember that forgiveness and restoring trust is a process, and it can't happen immediately. During this time, both need to work together to create a loving and supportive environment. Spend time together, discuss each other's feelings, and understand that both can learn and grow from the conflicts. This is an opportunity to renew love and restore the connection between the two. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on actions rather than just words. While communication is important in any relationship, when facing a conflict, sometimes actions speak louder than words. Specific actions to solve the problem will demonstrate your commitment to the relationship. Rather than just offering apologies or explanations, show your change and commitment through actions. This doesn't mean you have to do everything immediately, but small, specific actions can make a significant difference in the relationship. It could be changing the way you communicate, spending more time together, or showing love and care more clearly. Changing actions from both sides will help create a new foundation for the relationship. This will allow the other person to realize that you are not only apologizing but also genuinely striving to rebuild trust and love between you. Stoicism teaches us that love is not a perfect relationship but one with imperfections. Everyone has their own weaknesses and flaws, and the important thing is learning to love and accept those weaknesses. Conflicts arise when these imperfections collide, but instead of trying to change the other person or perfect everything, Stoicism encourages us to view these imperfections as part of growth and learning. Accept the imperfection in love and find ways to love even when there are differences. A strong relationship doesn't come from perfection, but from respect, empathy, and the ability to accept differences. When you and your partner can accept and learn from conflicts together, you will find your love growing stronger and more enduring. One of the key principles in Stoic thinking is the ability to master your own emotions, especially when facing conflicts in love. Emotions are difficult to control, but Stoicism teaches that we can control our reactions to those emotions. Being aware of our feelings during an argument can help us avoid being swept away by anger or feelings of helplessness. When conflicts arise, we are often easily swept up in negative emotions like anger, disappointment, or even feelings of hurt. However, Stoicism encourages you to recognize and not let these emotions drive your actions. Instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to breathe deeply, calm down, and think before responding. This helps you maintain an objective perspective and avoid saying or doing things that could hurt both parties. Emotions are an integral part of love, but they shouldn't dominate. Learning to recognize and control your emotions will help you resolve conflicts more effectively while maintaining calm and reason in the process. One of the important lessons Stoicism teaches us in relationships is the ability to understand the other person. When conflicts occur, each person may see the problem from their own perspective, and this sometimes leads to a lack of empathy. Putting yourself in the other person's shoes helps you better understand why they are acting or feeling that way, and can help you find a more reasonable solution. Stoicism encourages understanding not only through logic but also through the heart. Take the time to listen sincerely to the other person and not rush to judge. Putting yourself in their position doesn't mean you have to agree with their point of view, but it's a way to see the situation from a different angle, which can help find a more reasonable solution. When you understand the other person, you will be more capable of choosing a way to resolve the conflict without hurting them. This also strengthens the relationship because both sides feel cared for and respected by the other. When facing a conflict in love, sometimes both people focus only on their own egos and forget that the common goal of the relationship is happiness and growth for both. Stoicism emphasizes that when resolving conflicts, you should focus on finding a solution that benefits both parties, not just one side. You both share a common goal, building a strong, loving, and lasting relationship. Therefore, when a conflict arises, instead of only trying to win the argument, find a way to build a solution that both of you can accept. This requires flexibility, understanding, and the willingness to sacrifice a little to achieve harmony. When you put the relationship above personal ego, it will be easier for you to realize that a conflict is not a failure, but an opportunity to make the relationship stronger. This mindset will help both of you find solutions without damaging love and mutual respect. One important thing in resolving conflicts is knowing when to stop and not dig deeper into the issue. Once a discussion has been held and an agreement reached, if the issue has been resolved, you should respect it and not bring up old issues again. Continuously digging up past conflicts only worsens the situation and may cause you to lose the opportunity to restore a harmonious relationship. Stoicism teaches that once a problem has been resolved, let it go and don't let it affect the relationship in the future. Both sides need to learn to forgive and look forward instead of living in the past. If you continue to bring up past conflicts, you won't be able to move forward with a healthy and sustainable relationship. So, once a solution has been found, stop and respect that decision. This will help maintain peace and trust between both parties. Conclusion. In love, conflicts are inevitable, but how we face and resolve them is the key to the sustainability of the relationship. Stoic thinking, based on self-control of emotions, self-respect, and respect for others, helps us view conflicts not as failures but as opportunities to grow and build stronger relationships. By keeping a calm mind, understanding each other, and always seeking reasonable solutions, you will create a loving space full of respect and understanding. Remember, love is not about perfect harmony, but the acceptance and learning from differences. When facing conflicts, stay true to the values of Stoicism, self-mastery, and always moving forward with a patient and compassionate heart. Remember that conflicts are a natural part of love. What matters is how we respond and learn from those challenges. By applying Stoic thinking, you will not only build a strong relationship but also achieve peace and harmony within yourself. If you find this video interesting and helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share it to help everyone grow together. Also, feel free to leave your comment below so we can have more discussions. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next videos. Wishing you success and happiness on your journey.